Okay. Okay, I'm back and I'm ready to attack. Um, let's see. Share screen. Okay, yeah. I'm back and I'm ready to attack. So, one second. One second. All right. So, this is a part two. So I was on the topic of where this woman was trying to, victimize the woman, you know, saying that, you know, the men are machistas, they're this, they're that, and that, like somehow the women are all victims and all this rubbish. And, at the end of the day, you see a lot of women that get pregnant, they know what they're doing, right? And I made a point and I said, look, a lot of the women, right? Um, and the older teenage girls and the women, a lot of them are not interested in the men. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying a good amount of them are not interested in the men who are working in the supermarket, who are, maybe the security guys, maybe the cleaners, street sweeper, mechanic, and all of that. So I'm saying at the end of the day, it's just like, you see, like over here, like certain women who get pregnant and all that. At the end of the day, it is a choice. There is no female that is 17, 18, 19 years old up to 25, 30, 35 who is sleep with a man and didn't know she could get pregnant, right? There was even a lady there who I had made friends with, and she had a child from a man. And I said to her, well, in the beginning, you knew he wasn't a good man. You knew he probably wouldn't be interested, getting pregnant, and then he just left. So if you know that this man isn't serious, why are you having a child for him? See what I'm saying? So, like, the French woman who came with the feminist agenda, feminist propaganda, it's just all bullshit. You know, the women there are not oppressed. A lot of women are in jobs that would be generically considered masculine, like security, police. A lot of them ride motorcycles. You don't really see that over here. And I remember there was a guy who got into some argument with me, British dude, saying, yeah, loads of the women over here, um, they ride motorcycles there because, I'm saying like a lot of Western women don't do that. Oh, well, what about the delivery drivers and this and that and all that? See, this is nonsense, and I'll explain why it's nonsense. A lot of the delivery drivers who are women are from Brazil. Some of them are from Eastern Europe. So they're not even Western women doing these jobs. Most of the Western women wouldn't do those jobs, right? I've been places like Tooting. I've been places like Stratford. What's this coming up here? Yeah, I've been all these kind of places, and the women doing those jobs are generically from Brazil. Brazil is Latin America. Colombia is Latin America, right? So, one thing that you will notice when you go there, there is a different dynamic. The woman, there's loads of women who are police officers, loads of them. Like, I'm not saying 10, 20%, I'm saying loads. Most of the stations I was at, so many police women. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them seem to be quite good looking, if I'm being honest. Um, so I could be wrong, but from what I saw, it doesn't seem like the women are oppressed. What it does seem like to me is that the women, even though some of them might do certain roles which could be considered more masculine, it seems like they still have respect for men. It seems like a lot of them would still prefer to be with a man. So that was actually a positive because I like to go places where I can see positive interactions between the men and the women. From what I saw, it looks like a lot of the men respect a lot of the women. So, it's vice versa on both levels. It looks like a lot of the women, even though some of them will have a job, they will still prefer to be with a man. Whereas over here in the West, in UK, maybe some parts of Germany, uh, North America, whatever it is, a woman will think that just because she has a job, she'll think she's better than a man. And that just simply isn't the case because, we see time and time again, anytime there's any problem, these same women who believe they're better than men, they run to men for the solution. When you look at a lot of the infrastructure, it's men that's upholding the infrastructure and all these kind of things. So, these are my experiences there in Colombia. And what I do realize is that some of the women in the Western countries, they are crybabies. They cry about absolute nonsense and say, oh, we're being mistreated. Oh my God, this and that is so hard. Well, actually, it's not, because when I was in Colombia, you have people selling fruit on the street. You have a 60-year-old woman pushing a cart and selling empanadas, selling biscuits, selling chewing gum. You have a 60, 70-year-old man selling these things, and they're having to push the cart 2, 3, 400 meters down the road to sell these things. So actually, a lot of the women do not have it hard over here. There's many things going in favor of women over here. And it's as some people said, like I think I was speaking to the Turkish guy. There's a Sikh guy who's in my WhatsApp group, and he says they call it first world problems. First world problems is absolute nonsense because when I told some Colombians over there that if someone didn't get a brand new pair of trainers that cost like 120, £150, if they didn't receive it in 3, 4 days, they could get so upset and hysterical. And some Colombians, they couldn't actually understand or identify with what I was talking about because over there, you know, they might have certain basic stuff. Yes, they have, like nice, lovely trainers and shoes and things over there, but those things are not like, it's just not like a main focus for them, and the Colombian people were very down to earth, real, um, and nice people, man. I saw a lot of the people working hard, a lot of the women, a lot of the men working very hard. Um, the areas that I was in, they were just respectful to me. They were respectful to, people who had come there like visitors. They were respectful to their own people. Um, and they just got along with life, man. And, that's what it's about. And I think that's why I was upset when I was having to leave because I had just been treated nice. I'd been treated nice in Colombia, man. Um, yeah, they were cool. Don't get me wrong though. When they know that you're a tourist, if you go to certain markets, they trying to sell to you a lot. Or sometimes, even whether they know you're a tourist or not, once you pay interest in their stall or whatever it is, they're literally onto you. Like, for example, when I was in like Sitenta and you go past certain restaurants or clubs, they're all trying to rush you to go in there. And, when I was in Sitenta, I didn't go to one of the clubs. I went to a club once. That was it. Because I just decided it's probably better for me to stay sober. I felt great. Um, Staying sober, I was working out some of the time. So I went to two different gyms there. I went to Smart Fit in Envigado. So I went there a few times. And then I went to that gym on top of the casino. I did a lot of walking. Sometimes when you're in these countries, you're going to realize you're going to do a lot of walking. It could be 30 minutes to an hour a day. In some cases, it could be 2 or 3 hours a day. So I realized that I lost a little bit of weight. I think I lost 3 or 4 kilos of weight. What I would like to do is carry on doing walking. It's quite healthy, so it would be good if I do at least an hour walking a day now that I'm back in London. I think in London has somewhat made people lazy because even if you look in some areas outside of London, or at least like not in the like closer to central areas of London, then what you'll find is people do a lot more walking. And I realized that when I was in London, sometimes I wouldn't do much walking, but I think it's healthy for me to do at least 40 minutes to 1 hour walking a day. You don't know I love working out, so that's always at least, it's normally about 2 hours training that I'll do in the gym. But yeah, man, I just recommend a lot of men, a lot of women to go down to Colombia. You can go and see some historical sites. Um, you can go and see like different things. There's like um, things like coffee plantations. There is what do you call it? Small little villages you can go to outside of Medellin. But I suggest some people to go to other parts of Colombia as well. If you're a black person, you might want to go to somewhere like El Choco. You might want to go to Cali. Um, I'd say maybe even like Cartagena. If you want to see some indigenous people, I would say like most people that you generically see are indigenous. But if you want to see those who speak an indigenous language, live a more indigenous way, then places like what's it like Wahid, and there's many places all over where you can see people like this. But it was a great experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Even though you know like a lot of my money ran down quick. I could have almost died out there. Um, but that was just due to a lack of planning. So next time when I go to one of these countries, I'll probably be going to Colombia again very soon. Just have to plan it better. Now I know some of the dynamics of Colombia. Now things are, so I know about the what do you call it? Like the train systems. I know how like the bus routes work. I know where they have like, so basically they have the international airport and then the more national airport. The national airport goes to the different cities around Colombia. So next time that I go, I'm gonna be more prepared. Um, Also, just to let you know, I did ask about Ecuador. Is Ecuador racist? Because I always hear many things about Ecuador, and they're not so welcoming to the blacks. I have not really been sold on Ecuador yet, because even blacks that I spoke to from Ecuador say that the Indians of Ecuador and other groups don't really like to associate with the blacks. And this just seems to be an ongoing problem where, like, even in the 21st century, you still have many people who want to discriminate on the black and show racism to the blacks. This was not something I had witnessed at all, not once in Colombia, absolutely not once. Everyone treated me nicely, whether they was pure Indian or mestizo Indian or whatever it is. Um, there was a lady from Colombia, right? So, not Colombia, sorry, a lady from Ecuador, right? This was not in Colombia. There was a lady from Ecuador who, was really angry that I was saying that people are saying Ecuador is racist. Um, you know, telling me all sorts of things. Like people always want to make it look as if black people are just complaining or they're stuck in the past, or they flip it onto you and say that you are discriminating, or they say, oh, you don't like this group, you don't like that group. Basically, several ways and techniques to deflect from the actual topic at hand. But at this moment in time, I have not been convinced enough for me to want to visit Ecuador. You see what I'm saying? I'm convinced about Colombia. I'm 100% convinced. I'm even convinced about Mexico more than Ecuador. And even we know that, there can be certain Mexicans with very racist views against blacks. But I'm convinced because, to be honest, I've seen quite a lot more blacks visit Mexico than I've seen them visit Ecuador, funny enough. And I think Mexico has just always had that big name in the whole of the, Latin America and all of that. So, I'm not convinced at this point in time that I would visit Ecuador. I may decide to go at some later time, but I'm not so convinced. I've seen videos by some black bloggers, and some of them said they didn't really feel very comfortable there. Um, there's been reports of racism and things like that. And for me, I'm just not really very motivated to go to a country where I could spend anything from £600 or £700 to £1,000 or £1,200 to go and get abused by a group of people. I could just travel a few miles out of London, to like the Midlands, or even before the Midlands, or somewhere up north, to get abused by the white people there. So why would I spend, and that would only cost 20 to 40 quid. Why would I spend like hundreds of pounds to get abused by some other group of people? And a lot of times people say, oh, well, this group, it's happening to this group, it's happening to that group. Like, for example, when we speak about the Islamic slave trade, and I think she was trying to say, oh, well, but it's a religion. So because it's a religion makes it okay. Um, because it's happening in another country, it makes it okay to discriminate black people. Well, it doesn't. But that's something for a different video. Um, if there is any other countries that you believe I should visit in Latin America or within the Caribbean, you can let me know. I'm open to traveling to different places. Of course, I'll do my research first. If I believe it's for me, I'll go there. I know some people are probably going to say the Dominican Republic. Um, that is somewhere where I would consider to visit, but I've heard it's dangerous. People have been attacked, but people have been attacked everywhere, I guess. But yeah, I've heard some funny stories about the Dominican Republic. But Colombia, listen, I'm giving Colombia a thumbs up, man. It's solid, but at the same time, you got to be careful. Certain places there is dangerous, just like Jamaica. Right, I'm Jamaican, right, and mad stories about Jamaica. But Jamaicans are welcoming to different groups of people. Fun enough, but I think the main problem is that probably they're having problems with their own Jamaicans who come to visit. So Jamaicans from Britain, Jamaicans from the US. Um, but yeah, man, visit Colombia. Colombia also has things like, as I said, the cheese, the coffee, the chocolate. Let me just find one thing because there was something I brought back from Colombia. So yeah, here it is. We got this. We got it from Colombia, G. Look at that. It's amazing, isn't it? So yeah, man, like now I'm paisa. Paisa. So yeah, man, it was solid out there in Colombia. Um, this was the ticket. Let me see, where is it? Can you see it? Yeah, that was the ticket that I was using for the metro. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Let me see if I got any coins left. So yeah, this is funny. This was the it's not much money, but it's about 100 mil pesos. But you need at least, so no, this is 100 pesos, but you need at least, I'd say 20 mil pesos, which is basically 20,000 pesos to buy a basic meal. But don't get scared, because 20 mil pesos, 20,000 pesos only calculates to about maybe £3 something, just under £4, something like that. So yeah, man, it was nice. I got this shave when I was in Colombia. In Colombia, yeah, they cut hair real good, man. A lot of the dudes, but don't go to the fancy places. Go to a regular place in the basic hood. Dudes who cut the hair there, they cut good, man. Um, so yeah, that's it for now. I am going to catch you lot later, but I think I will be doing um another video with suggestions of some countries to visit in the whole of the Americas. So it's not going to be just about Latin America, but will be the whole of the Americas. You know, I'm going to be talking about a place like in the US, like LA, Mississippi, Louisiana, those kind of places, and some Caribbean countries and other Latin American countries. So I shall catch you lot later. Look at that, man. I'm so proud of this, man. I'm proud of this. But yeah, man, I'll catch you lot later. Take care.